Hello. It's great to see you again, Cosmic Family. I just made some tea. Not just any ordinary tea. This is golden milk tea. It's basically golden milk, which is turmeric, cinnamon, a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper, and milk, obviously. I don't know if I already said that. And you sweeten it with honey or agave. It's very tasty. And if you're a coffee drinker, you can actually make this, and instead of putting a tea bag in it, you just mix it with your coffee. It's so tasty. You know, you must always have something, like a drink or a taste that's good for you, not just physically, but it's also good for your state of being. Meaning something that, you know, even water can be like this. When you think about how we are mostly water, this planet is mostly water, and that water has a memory, a vibrational memory. It really makes you realize that even water, if you take a cup of water, every time before you drink it, you give it a blessing, or you think something good, you actually focus on it, give it thanks. That can do wonders for our bodies, just drinking that water. It's really amazing. So when I drink this tea, in a way it allows me to put my focus on blessing this tea. Now ideally you're doing this with so much in your life, from people in your life to things. You're constantly giving out blessings and are in a state of gratitude. I know it sounds difficult to be in a state of gratitude, especially with what is going on in the world right now. Like, you know, every time I pick up my phone, it doesn't matter unless if I tried to go on the internet. It's a constant reminder of things that are happening, especially the things that come from a lower frequency. You know, things, actions that come from a lower vibrational frequency. And so when I've been sitting with Seven, with the Pleiadians, and I've been asking them, what do we do when it's one thing after another? And it's so good. It is one of the things that they say is you've got to mind your vibration. If your attention is not there in maintaining this well-being, this state of well-being in you, there's nothing good that you can, there's nothing really that great that's going to come out of it otherwise. So oftentimes we expect great things, or we want good things to happen, great things, but we are not congruent within ourselves. We just let anything and everything out there affect us. Now, you know, they say case in point, if someone wanted to control you, they would have you focus on all the chaos and be involved in the chaos. It's one thing you have to observe, you have to be aware of what is happening around you. That's very important, but it's this state you are in which you're interpreting everything. And to have reactions, it's natural. You find something out, it's healthy when you have a certain reaction, but then a person who is used to being in a higher vibrational frequency scale someone who is used to being in a higher state, they're able to handle it much more different than somebody who is already in a lower state. And so it's easier then to get caught up. But it is also possible to say, okay, I get it, I care. So because I care, I actually want to step back and really figure out the right perspective. And this leads me to the next thing that they have been speaking about, which I don't know by the time I post this if you're going to see those channeled messages or not. But they have been bringing to attention something that sort of went very underlooked, which is we have had men in space this weekend, these last few days. And it's pretty amazing because, well, what does this mean? For the beings, the many beings that have this other perspective, see as humans, many humans just have this limited perspective. It's here, I'm here, they'll say, and this is my world, and this is the whole world. But for a lot of, or all the beings that are outside of Earth, who have come into the awareness of Earth and the inhabitants here, their perspective is so much broader. And this perspective being broader is exactly what 7, when we talks about, which is perspective. This really large, incredibly expansive perspective. And not just an incredible expansive perspective of the universe, as in the planets and the stars, but also consciousness perspective, to really have this broad perspective. And they speak about, like, what is the ascension? Well, for one, it is the ability to truly ascend vibrationally. So you are always vibrating at a certain level. This is the most important thing, because what happens when we're at this level? Well, so what happens at this level? What happens as we uplift and we ascend to 4th, 5th, and higher dimensions? Not only does our reality shift, because of course, vibrationally, things are shifting, and so the reality we manifest completely transforms. It's not just that, though. It's all the other beings that we come into contact with. And so we are getting closer and closer to first contact. Most humans are blind to this. Most humans obviously are so, as we are, so concerned with the life that is happening on Earth. And yet, there is a yearning, a curiosity, a desire, a true essence that not all of us, but some of us realize that we share with the whole universe. And it's not just us who share it. It's not just human being to human being. There's other beings that we share this incredible connection with. However, it's like long lost cousins. Well, how do you meet your cousins? Well, somebody gets an awareness of the other, maybe both, let's say not even cousins, let's say even closer, brother and sister, right? And they both have an awareness now of each other, and so they start to make moves. Maybe one person has a lot more clarity because they have a lot more information, and so they're moving closer, and this person maybe doesn't even know. So that's basically what it's like with first contact. There are some human beings that have become aware. Now, what I'm sharing with you is what the Pleiadians have shared with me. I will share with you what they've shared with me, but there are some things I can't share with you yet. And there's some other things that they have not even told me yet, that they say you're not even ready. Many people are not even ready to hear this. But the essence of it and why Ascension is so important is because that is when contact will begin to happen. Now, the way that they've said it is they will make contact with certain beings, like they already have, and then eventually it will be collective consciousness, which will be humans and entities that are in human form and that have a human awareness and human consciousness, so to speak. As they begin ascending and they're at a certain level of frequency consistently, there's basically a certain threshold. We all have, as people, certain frequency threshold. This is the way they explain it. So let's say most people have a certain frequency threshold depending on a lot of not just their own experiences, but their level of consciousness awakening. And the more consciously aware that you become and awakened, you begin to move up in the frequency scale. And so your threshold moves up. But for a lot of people, they're usually at a certain threshold. But as it begins to move up, you basically cannot really go much further down on that frequency scale. And that's your consistent frequency scale right now. And then same thing as you awaken more and your frequency rises and you're vibrationally in a higher place, on and on and on. And we reach a point where our frequency now becomes a match to come into contact with other beings. Other beings that might already be aware of us, but they just know that we can't meet yet. You've had people in your life where you did not meet them until something happened in your life. Now, you might look at it as it's complete coincidence. I just happened to be at the right place at the right time. But did you ever wonder, how come you did not meet this person sooner? Or at a different time in your life? Why now? And what it is that you were a frequency match for each other. And this is so key. And so they say that first contact is going to be nothing like we expected. And it's good because they say it's good. I'm assuming it's good if it's nothing like we imagine it to be because, well, who wouldn't want to be surprised by a connection, a contact with their cosmic family? I mean, some of us are already here and we've made contact with each other. We haven't even made, human to human contact, right? But we have made contact. Somehow we know that this connection transcends just, I see this person and what they're sharing. Someone shares a video, someone shares. I don't like to look at them as comments because it is so much more. Sometimes people share their love, they share their magic. Sometimes people share their rage and their anger and their pain, right? That's what trolling is. People are just sharing their pain. And some people just share sometimes confusion, but a lot of people at the end of the day are sharing their hearts in whatever way and frequency they're at. So in a way, we are sharing our frequencies with each other. And so because of that, we've become a frequency match for each other. And sometimes even the person who's sharing the pain, because they might use, certain words to share their frustration and pain, which can come through as trolling or a negative comment, but yet what they could really be sharing is something that they're not even aware they're sharing. Beyond frequency, it's a call for help or saying, I want alignment, but this is where I'm at and this is all I have to give. So here it is, And I'm getting a little off track. This tea is really good. When you're drinking a drink and it was hot 5 minutes ago and you drink and then it's cold and it's that feeling of, you're good, but you're cold. I was expecting you to be a little warmer. That's this tea right now. It's still good. Let's see if there's a little bit more hot tea. So, there's incredible things happening now. And some might argue that, there's incredible things happening all the time, or there's incredible things that have happened way, way in the past. That's true. But there are certain points in human history, and Seven has been very clear about this. They say, when infinite intelligence is non-judgmental. Infinite intelligence is pure creation. And when you come from that perspective, you begin to see the cycles of creation more broadly, as well as you see them at a very, small scale as well. And what is happening now is a crossing over of not just human history, but human consciousness. You might say, I don't see it like that because the world around me is not reflecting that. That's understandable. And when they mean a crossing over, from what I understand, is that there is no judgment, as in, not everyone is ascending. However, the more humans ascend, the more possible it is to help more and more and more and more and other souls to ascend. It's this domino effect. That's why it's such a powerful thing when someone awakens, because then they can touch someone else with their light, even though it might not be visible. And so, this is where we're at. This incredible time when, ancient civilizations had certain things available to them that we can't even imagine. That is true. And there's something cyclical, and at least now in this physical reality, that is mappable almost. Not almost, but it is mappable. And so we are literally in a powerful cyclical shift. So it's no joke that what is happening now is not in vain. What is happening now is not history repeating itself. It's history reinventing itself. And for those souls that are able to awaken, for those souls that are able to raise their frequency, they will experience this shift very differently than the ones who get caught up over and over and over in the chaos. it's very important to consider. It's a special time and it matters. And guess what? You matter. See, so many people forget this, but you matter. You are so important. Remember this, because, and this is incredible, because as I was channeling today and, I relaxed and, the energies come through, and there's, I call it energies, but it's the energy moves in, but it's like a bath of love. That's what it feels like. And then the transmissions begin. And that's the biggest thing that I feel when 7 comes through, when the energy comes through. It's like they are telling to us all along in so many different ways that you matter. You matter. When you begin to matter to yourself, because you already matter. We already matter, right? When we begin to matter, as in we really get to see our worth and really see ourselves as Source sees us, as these other beings really see us, there's a you really feel those blessings, you really feel them. So I want to share those with you. Thank you.